That's cool.
All right. Well, hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Yes. Hey, Alise. I want to welcome everybody
Jem.
to Coffee with Jem. I'm Jem, and this is Alise.
Hello.
And we're so excited to be here today. Have a lot of things to talk about.
I've been jealous. Like everybody who is anybody in at least one of our game influencer sphere has been on your show. I was like, when I finally got the call, I felt like I made it to another level.
Well,
Truly.
You know what they say about saving the best for last.
All right. Sure.
Hey, JT from BB Network. Thank you. Best for last, indeed. All right. So, well, you know, I'm getting a little more bold in this asking too. I just sort of we were all in a group chat. And I was just like, hey, Alise, you need to be on my show. And yet, you know, when I first started, I'd be like, Jess, would you be willing to be my, help me out? And, so.
I totally feel you. It can be very kind of anxious. You want to impose and step outside your bounds, but on the other hand, you need some content. You need some people to show up so you can have a chit chat. I totally get it.
That's true. Because I am certainly not the hottest gamer around. So just sitting here and streaming my gaming is not going to work. So we need to have conversation.
Well, there's a place for everything, but obviously there's always a place for, a couple of lovely ladies to actually have a conversation about games. So
exactly.
I think that's always awesome.
JT. Jim isn't shy.
That is true to a point, I think.
I have no comment. We'll just go with no comment today. So I'm very excited to have a new webcam, and we're trying it out. I think I might have had it on the last stream. I'm not positive, but I wanted to have Alise today, but I still haven't mastered getting another webcam up here. So we don't have Alise in picture today, just in voice.
Alise is happy about that because I have wet head and no makeup, and I'm happy about that. I gotta slap all that crap on for tomorrow, so I'm happy to actually not have to worry about that.
Yes, let's talk about tomorrow. What is going on tomorrow? Tomorrow is
the council. So it is a Twitch podcast or video podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic, and I am on there with my 3 co-hosts, Edna, Sakari, and Magic Ace, and we talk all things Star Wars, primarily in reference to Star Wars The Old Republic, but we do go out into we touch a little bit about MMOs and in relation to the game. So the council. Mondays at 9 Eastern.
And if y'all haven't seen it yet, you need to. It's really awesome. It's an awesome show, an awesome program. It's very well put together.
Sakari is awesome. I claim no all the production stuff is Redna and Sakari. I'm the cheerleader.
Well, I'm telling you,
good
it
job,
is.
Guys.
You're the cheerleader. Well, it is a very well put together show and program, and what y'all talk about is always, I find it to be relative. I find it to be important, and I don't find it to be like a gripe fest or a slam fest. It's important information that we need to know with important questions. I don't know. It's an intelligent talk show. I love it.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Absolutely love it.
That's nice to hear. I'm glad to hear that. We really try and be balanced. Nothing is ever really black and white. All 4 of us have different perspectives. And that was something that was considered important when we
Yes.
started creating the show. We have, Redna can find a counter argument to almost anything you say. And honestly, if you want something to improve, you need to actually have that counter argument, and then you need to have someone going, I think this is great. Generally, the secret to success generally is found in the middle, usually. So you need all of those kind of viewpoints so that you can make something better.
I totally agree. You need somebody to play that devil's advocate. They may not always support the arguing side, but you need someone that can bring that to the attention, because someone out there is going to think that way. So you have to be well-rounded.
So you need to have thought of that. But I think we try and do a very good job of, yes, we might have a different perspective, but we always have respect for the game, the community, and the people who are trying to make it. So, hopefully we transmit that as it's really done out of love and care for the game, not to see it burn.
Right.
As it were.
Exactly. It's a good game. It's a good quality game, and it's different. We have some questions already. Hello, Des, and thank you, and thank you, JT, for the host today. JT wants to know, is there a poll for this week's show? I'm assuming he's talking about the council.
Yes, I got it out. What was it? Tuesday morning. The polls are generally mine.
Okay.
That's the thing I put forth.
Woohoo!
So I want to say it went out on Tuesday, maybe really early. So it's about Bartle. We talked about your motivations for playing Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Okay.
So
let me
go
see if I
back
can
to
find
Tuesday.
it.
It's also on Reddit. And there's, I think, 4 categories on there.
On Reddit? I don't even know what Reddit is. Is that terrible?
It's on Twitter under the council.
Oh yeah. Where's the council?
It's also on our Facebook page, I believe. I'm almost certain, because I don't do Facebook.
We will find it. Oh yeah, this is the Bartle test, right?
The first question is, what motivates you? I think what's the main motivation for playing SWTOR? I think is the actual question. You have 4 choices, and then the suggestion was to try, if you've never taken a Bartle test, to go ahead and take it. And I also linked that in the same tweet.
Okay, here it is, right here. JT is trying to post something. Should we let him? I don't know.
Like,
can he be trusted? I don't know if
Twitch Prime is included.
Well, hello? Come on, let me, there we go. There you go, JT. We'll let you post.
JT was still on vacation when I put that out. He might have been.
He may have been. He may have been on vacation.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody...
Is there another question?
Oh, is there another question?
Have a question? No, I was just asking.
Limited power.
All right. I'm good.
Okay.
Please continue.
I want everyone to understand how important today's show is. I am missing my team playing, so please no spoilers in chat. I'm recording the game and I'm going to watch it later. So I'm just saying. This is a huge deal.
About that, everybody. When she suggested this time, I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
You want to do it now?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I don't mind watching a recorded game of my team. I don't necessarily want to watch a recorded game of just anybody's team, but my team, I don't mind, watching it. So
sure,
we have it saved. Excuse me. All right. Well, let's dive into the show. I promised Alise she'd be out of here in an hour, so let's.
I got some room. I got some room on either end. So
you have some room. Okay,
that's good. Room.
Well, so let's see here. Let's start with, and this might seem kind of like a silly question, but it gives us an insight into today's show. So let's ask Alise. You are a woman, obviously, who loves gaming, obviously. So tell us about that. What has that been like for you?
Well, it's been good and bad. I oftentimes get asked why I haven't grown out of playing games yet. That
Mm,
isn't that something I should have gotten past by now.
okay.
So sadly, I kind of live in my kind of community in real life. I am the only woman that I know of at the
That
vast
place.
majority of right that place. I have many women whose kids play that I know, but not them. So I am kind of a fish out of water in
Those willing
my
to
real
risk
life
everything to combat the
community,
plague
let's
on
say.
Alderaan
And
should
my
consult
mother
with a
is always
representative
asking
of the
me when
Highland
I'm going to be done
Organization for
with
Radical Neutralization
with that.
Homeworld.
She's always asking, huh?
Sadly, yes.
See, I just don't even really talk about it with my family for the most part. You know, outside of my kids and my husband all know, but my husband plays some games too, so you know we're pretty
Right,
equal on that. But
right.
um,
My husband and I used to play together. My husband
mhm.
used to play, but as he's gotten older, he just really his gaming is like right now. I heard him while we were prepping for this, talking to my son about if he managed to farm any more berries in Smurf Village. That's my husband's gaming anymore. Is yeah, Smurf Village
Smurf
on cell
Village.
phone.
But hey,
It's a surf mobile game. Whatever floats his boat.
exactly.
Um, but oh, and he does play, and he'll play sports games with my youngest.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
so
cool.
he will do those, but pretty much that's it. And we used to play horror games. We were huge Silent Hill fans
Oh,
back in the
wow.
day, and that game, the first time you ever play that game is freaking freaky. I mean, back in the day, that game was scary. For those of you who maybe have ever played that game,
Wow. Yeah, I
so
just saw like a, I guess it was probably maybe the box advertising or something one time, and I was like, oh nope, I'll be passing that on. Not gonna go
yeah,
there.
it is very much. It's a Japanese um, horror game, very much in the vein of like The Ring. Have you ever
Yeah,
seen that game? I mean, that movie, The Ring,
I
and
did
there was
see
a
the movie once in the daytime.
mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's scary.
It's freaky.
So
It is.
yeah,
I don't
so
do I don't do that kind of stuff very well. I was just
me
something about it
either.
just creeps me out.
Hmm. Me too.
And yep, JT says we have so many women gamers in UA. Yes, we do.
We
Unholy
do.
Alliance, we sure do. Oh,
Yeah.
where's my
We could talk about that a little bit if you
good?
want. I really do think there's a reason for that. It's just my opinion and my own personal theory. But yeah,
Because
I'm
we're
happy
awesome.
that,
No.
yeah, it's because we're awesome. And I think also the leadership is female. We have
Hmm.
a lot of female officers, and Jem was one of the originators of the guild, and then I'm currently the
Yeah,
guild leader of it right now. And I think, um, when you're shopping for a guild, if that's important to you, seeing women in leadership positions, I think there's some comfort there. So that's
I
my
agree.
personal opinion.
I
But
agree. I came from a game where I was the only female. Like sometimes somebody's wife would start playing and they'd play for maybe a month and then they wouldn't come back. Or someone's daughter would play for a little bit and then they wouldn't come back. So,
mhm.
as far as like hardcore staying and playing the game for a few years, I was the only female in our guild that did that. Oh, we did have one other, but her husband wanted to start a guild separate, or it was called a fleet in Star Trek. And so he
Mhm.
wanted to start a fleet. So she went with him, which was why she
Mhm.
left. Otherwise, I would have been the second female in our guild. But yeah, it's just, and it was a very friendly guild. They were very
Mhm.
protective. It was really funny. Even after Jim Hubby started playing, they were very protective. We were on one of the open maps one time, and somebody was being very inappropriate to my character on the screen, and I hadn't seen it. And one of the guys in voice chat goes, June, that's my name in the other game. June, you need to move your tune. I'm like, why? They go, just come over here where I am. And so I'm trying to find, I'm like, what's going on? And they go, somebody was being inappropriate with your character. We don't need that. I was
Which
like,
is
okay,
awesome.
thanks. So yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was really an atmosphere of protection, but I was never put down for being a female or treated differently because I was a female. In fact, they thought it was fun. I wanted to learn all the ops and things. They call them STFs over there, but they thought it was neat. So it was pretty cool. But a lot like UA,
That's
just
awesome.
yeah,
And
it was the same atmosphere as here.
And we need that. But it is kind of nice to have somebody else who gets what you're saying without having to explain it completely, and that's always nice to have.
Yes, you can say I'm having a bad day, and you don't have to explain what your day is.
Or, well, I have to mommy, which most guys know that, but it's just
right.
It's
different. Well, let's see. In chat, we have thank you, Keller Dorn. Ring would like to take a coffee to go. Go for it. He would like to have a coffee, not to go. Go for it. I'm on water today. CJT, I'm drinking water.
Wow.
I will have coffee later. I know.
Do you need to amend the show?
No, well, you have water in a coffee shop too.
Without coffee and Gem today?
I know. Sometimes it's vodka with Gem, but I don't really think I could advertise that. So
why not?
But I don't know. Maybe one of these nights, it'll be running log vodka with Gem. So
I think that would be awesome, actually.
But no, I have to drink more water. I have some stuff coming up, so I'm trying to get ready for it. So water is important. Vodka with Gem would be awesome title.
I know, right? I think that would be awesome. Or coffee and vodka with Gem.
There we go.
Think that still works.
No. I have to have my coffee or my vodka. I can't mix the two. It's like peas and carrots. I'm sorry, but there needs to be a wall. They should not be mixed together.
Oh.
Everything must be separate. Yes, I am one of those.
Peas and carrots together.
I don't like my food. Like, okay, if I'm having a stir fry and your veggies are all mixed, that's fine. But like if I'm having steak and potatoes, even though both of them may have gravy on them, or chicken fried steak, country steak, they may both have gravy on them, but my potatoes stay over here on this side of the plate and my steak is on this side of the plate.
Oh, good.
We're not mixing.
Like
Yeah, there cannot be potatoes on the steak when it enters my mouth. So just saying.
Awesome. Now I have a question for you. I'm exactly the same, but I like the KFC mashed potato bowls. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I like those for some strange reason. My husband cannot understand why it is that I can eat those when I don't like anything else touching. But for some reason I can eat those. But I can't have the juice. I don't like my sweet potato like glaze touching my turkey. I don't like that. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep. I cannot do those. I know what you're talking about, and I've seen them, and I'm always like, oh, I just can't do it. But okay, so here we go. Question number 2. Hey, Purple Phoenix. Hold the vodka. Okay. We could just do 7-Up or Sprite. So, let's see. Gaming. Oh, back to gaming. Okay, I lost track of where I was. So, like, what was your first game? And without telling your age.
Well, it's kind of hard for me to answer that question without telling my age. Okay, so I think I've said this multiple times. I played Pong. Not retro on a retro console. I played it when it was relevant. I had a ColecoVision, was my very first gaming system. For those of you who know what a ColecoVision is, we had Frogger, Ladybug, and Donkey Kong.
I remember Donkey Kong and Frogger.
So and Mario didn't have a name in that game. He was just the dude in overalls with a wrench. So
I had forgotten that it had been around
that's
that long.
how long I've been playing video games. That long. I think he was called Jumpman back then because
Jumpman.
It was a platforming game. Donkey Kong was. So yeah, that's how long. And I played Legend of Zelda on release on that newfangled system called a Nintendo.
I was working retail at Target when Nintendo came out. I was in the electronics, and I remember us getting ready for that. And I hadn't grown up with games in the house. We were dirt poor growing up, and but I had a friend that had the what was that thing everybody had for a while that you played Pong on? Atari, thank you. She had an Atari. And so we'd play some. But my big thing was, the corner store. I've said that before. But anyway, so we're gearing up for this, and people just, some of the employees thought it was crazy that we had ordered so many Nintendo gaming systems. I said, no. I said, these are going to be gone. Just watch and see. Even I underestimated my small hometown's gaming fetish because we were sold out the end of the first day, and the order was supposed to have lasted us a week. Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
They were gone, and people, when word got out that we had them, we were the only store in town that had them. And when word got out that we had them, people came in and were buying 3 and 4 at a time. We had to put a limit on them with our next order, 1 per purchase. So.
And I doubt eBay was really a thing back then.
This was before computers. Yeah, this was before computers. Right. This was.
So yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. My youngest.
Well, at least there
28
were
years ago
back then, because computer gaming came before console gaming, but
yeah,
computers back in the day kind of were stratified by socioeconomic status and generation, really.
True.
If you think about it.
True.
So,
I mean, this is before your
its whole push was that it was more accessible to the common man. You didn't have to have this computer and know how to use it. All you had to do is plug it in and turn it on, and all the things that you had to use DOS maybe to actually use on a computer just automatically happened. So
right.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So it was quite crazy. So let me check chat. I forget to check chat while we're talking. So yeah, old school. JT says he remembers old school Zelda. I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Legends of Zelda. So, yeah, I played that a couple of times. But I never really played that.
I discovered my love for RPGs with that game, but that is the only version of Zelda that I have ever played. Is the Legend of Zelda, the very first one. But Zelda went from this tiny little pixelated thing to, what you see now in the Breath of the Wild, and it's just amazing, how far things have come. And that was considered groundbreaking back in the day. So it's amazing just how far we've come.
Wow, it is. It's crazy. Stuff that used to be in science fiction movies and TV shows, and we're, use them daily now without a second thought.
I know. Or even just what you see. Just think about Star Trek. We're talking about, Star Trek Online. Think about the 60s Star Trek to today's Star Trek. It's just amazing. Exactly. Or even tracking the evolution through the movies. You watch the very first Star Trek, which was just groundbreaking in its special effects, to now, just
exactly.
It's just amazing how fast the entertainment industry evolves.
Totally mind-blowing. I'm gonna switch up a couple of our questions real quick because I think actually the third question I want to move it to after this next question. Okay. So you don't just do the council. You also, I don't know if people know this or not, but you do VRR Podcast. So tell us a little bit about VRR Podcast.
So VRR is short for Verification Required Podcast. It's a general gaming a general gaming podcast I do with a friend, Jericho, with my co-host Jericho. we used to talk at work. We both worked together, and we used to, go on walks at lunch and, talk about games. And every day we had all this great stuff, but nothing, nowhere to put it. So we decided to start a podcast so we could actually do something with all of our convincing about games. So
Good idea.
that is VCR Podcast. The nice thing is that it really is multi-generational and it's multicultural. There's about a 20-year difference between myself and Jericho. So I'm a Generation Xer and he's a millennial. I'm biracial and he's African American. So it's kind of nice. We kind of bring a lot of different perspectives to the table when we're talking about games. He loves Japanese games and I really don't like Japanese games. I'm really a Western RPG, fan, and he's been playing World of Warcraft since close to its inception. And, I really only play Star Wars The Old Republic with a little dabbling really of Elder Scrolls Online too. So it really is great to kind of hear, I'll say something and he'll say something, and a lot of times we come at it from a different spot. It's kind of nice. Well, and he's also he's getting a degree in video games actually. What was it? I think he's doing graphic design.
Oh really?
I want to say I don't know that he is 110% committed to that yet, but I'm fairly certain he's going down the art path. So I get to tag along and kind of like read. He took a marketing class, and I just found that a video game marketing class last semester, and I got to read all the stuff after. So that was pretty awesome.
Well, that does sound pretty awesome. And that's good. Mm-hmm. That seems to be where a lot of the good jobs and stuff are these days, is that kind of atmosphere, environment. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Joined a UA get together in Indy. Oh, that's right. Yep. That's right. Oh, I wish I had that picture handy.
So JT and Mox both, he tagged along with me to the Unholy Alliance meetup. So JT and Mox both have actually met my co-host in real life, and Deroki.
Cool. Very cool.
So it was fun. It's always especially when I have to drive 3 hours one way, it was really nice to have somebody else on the car.
That's funny. Okay, so I've been asking these questions because something very important. We had Kidley on here not long ago, and he is a community I've lost all my words now. Like a
content creator.
Thank you. Yes, and influencer, and he, a lot of his shows are trying out new games, checking new games, and reporting on these games. So I thought, you know what? Another thing with Alise is let's get a female's perspective on this from the gaming community. So let's talk about that. Now this is not. I'm just going to warn chat before you all leave. This is not a, we're not burning bras today. Wow. This is not the 60s. This is not, we gotta warn them. We're not stringing up any men today and torturing them or anything like that. This is just from a different perspective. Let's get a woman's perspective on the gaming community. Kellerdorn, let's keep this G-rated. But this is to get a woman's perspective on the gaming community and what's out there and what's going on. And let's be honest, there's been a lot of this in the news lately with a really good game that was supposed to be coming out. The community had been promised. Things were moving ahead with it. And then all of a sudden the game's not happening. And I believe the creator was a woman. I don't remember what her role was in all of this, but right. I'm still new to the gaming community, so go ahead.
Right. So Visceral Games was closed by EA, and Peter Soderlund, I can't remember what the actual title is he like creative director for EA, or I'm sure he JT is my general gaming bro. We like send each other articles a lot on the business of gaming. um, um, but they ended up closing Visceral Games, which for those of you who are familiar with other games other than Star Wars: The Old Republic, it's the studio that created the Dead Space series, and Dead Space was one of those suspense horror games, kind of genre defining when it came out, the first one. So they closed the studio and they were making a new Star Wars game. And the rumor was that it was going to be like Uncharted, Star Wars Uncharted, basically. If you've ever played Uncharted, it's kind of Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Kind
I've
of
never played it, but
it's a great game. It got Game of the Year. The Uncharted 4, I believe, got Game of the Year from multiple industry outlets. Highly critically acclaimed. It's great. And Amy Hennig was, I think, lead writer or creative director for Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. She's a woman who is a veteran in every sense of the word of the gaming industry. Okay. And she left Naughty Dog to come to Visceral Games to head up this project. Code name of the game was, I don't know if it still is, I assume that it is Project Ragtag, I believe. And they actually showed some concept art at E3, I think, 2 years ago. I'm sure JT again could correct me if I'm wrong on the date. It was
JT's good at correcting when we're wrong, so
hey, whatever. He got my back, so I don't get flamed for being inaccurate. It wasn't last year's E3, so I want to say it was the year before at the very least. But Star Wars games we have not had, those of us who are Star Wars video game lovers have not had very many to crow about in quality and success. So those of us who like Star Wars and like video games, there's been a lot, print-wise, there's been a lot of great Star Wars books, and there's been a lot of great movies and TV shows. Rebels and Clone Wars both are very successable. But video games have kind of been a very dodgy, mixed bag. So those of us, I was just confident this was going to be an excellent game if Amy Hennig was heading up the writing team and was like creative director for it. So it was really heartbreaking to see that. And it was supposed to have released fourth quarter of EA's fiscal year, which would have ended March of 2019. So essentially this year. So we were rolling up on it. They should have started the marketing probably after the holidays at the very least, maybe right before the holidays. And now they're not really giving us a time frame when it's going to come to pass. So
did they just set it on the shelf and maybe it'll come back, or we don't know? Can't really.
No, they did. They said what they've done. What they've done is they've dissolved Visceral. So the studio is gone. And what they've done is moved as many, I think the exact quote was, they've moved as many of the staff as possible to other EA projects. And I think the bulk of them have gone to the EA studios. I think it's EA Worldwide, which is in Vancouver. And they said they've taken what assets they could use, and they're going to continue to build the game based on those assets, but that they needed to redirect because the game was going to be basically like a single player game. And they needed to move it to a game, what did they say? That is something that people will come back to play over and over again, which most of us who are in the know about the games industry means they're trying to push it towards a games as service game, as opposed to like Star Wars: The Old Republic or Knights of the Old Republic, right? That's considered a very good.
Bless you.
Yeah, that was my kiddo. Sorry. So anyway, yeah. So going to games of service, they've they've dissolved the studio, moved the assets to another studio, and another studio picking it up, according to what EA is saying. But we have no idea how much longer now we're going to have to wait for this game, or what the game is going to look like. We had kind of an idea of what it would have been like and Amy Hennig is no longer on the project.
Wow. Hey, Kid Lee, welcome. Thank you for hosting. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us today. So I just wanted to, while we're kind of talking about that a little bit, what, like Amy Hennig, I don't hear very many, I don't hear very many women in content creation, or like there was one, what was it, a game that came out a few months or a year ago or whatever, and I think there was a woman that was in charge of or maybe she was the main artist or whatever. And there was a lot of backlash about that kind of stuff. So I mean, what are we looking at here? What's something, oh, I'm getting way off track here. What is,
we still have a game. I mean, Jade Riemann was also the head of the studio that was working with Visceral on this. And she's head of Motive Studio, and Motive is releasing Battlefront 2. So,
well, I guess what I want to know is, what are we looking at as far as women in the industry? Women, not, I mean, you know, coming from gaming, we're getting there. There's a lot more out there now, and a lot more women that are saying, you know what, I play games, get over it. You know, big deal. Right. So now we're looking at the industry. Who's creating these games? We were talking before the okay. Well, we were saying before the show started about how, you know, I had read, was reading up a little bit of stuff because I'm not very informed, and there was a interview that was being quoted, and in the interview somebody had mentioned that, you know, men and women have a different way of thinking, and this person was slammed for saying that. But I think it's very true. I see it with my husband. I see it with my children. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. And I see that we actually do. We can have the same thing and have totally different perspectives on something. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, 2 guys are going to have different perspective on things. 2 women are going to have it different. So a man and a woman are definitely going to have different perspectives. So what are we looking at in the industry? How do we get more women into this? Or are they out there and we're just not hearing about it?
Well, there are women in games, but the problem is that just like many industries, country, they are frequently not in leadership positions in those games, and that's an issue. It's the suits, to use an old '80s term, are really the ones that make the decisions about what goes in, what goes out, right? Mm-hmm. What stays, what gets cut, what, you know, and the idea. Now, they usually do it by committee, but somebody always has to be the decider, to quote W. Love that. I like using that phrase a lot. And frequently it's men that are in that position. Now, I'm not attempting to slam men in any way, shape, or form, but again,
it's just a fact, you know, right now that this is what we have.
Correct. And so then what comes to market is going to be influenced by those people who are making those pivotal decisions at, you know, during the game making process. You know, how the storyline goes. Just simple things as, you know, do you have a choice to be a man or a woman? Ubisoft got slammed for, I believe it was Assassin's Creed Unity, for not having a woman. You know, people put up with it for all these iterations of Assassin's Creed. And so for the last one, people are like, come on. Now, you couldn't have had the player character be a choice, either a man or a woman. And Ubisoft came back and said something about time and budget. And they got flamed for it on the internet for that response. And, you know, the question was it you couldn't choose to allocate resources to that, and why not? And so that's kind of what happened. But there's also economic reasons for those things happening that we as players also need to stand up and own. And we can talk about that now, or we can talk about that later if you want.
Well, that's a
Did
very
I
good
answer?
point that you bring up. What can we do as the consumer of these products that we love to make our voices heard more, or to get more women? Because, like you said, it's not a male bashing thing. I think for a lot of years, guys were encouraged for certain things, and girls were encouraged for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I know, like, my representative here in our area is really pushing. He has a cyber safety program he's trying to really get going in our area, Representative Hurd, and he has really been pushing for girls to get involved and
Mm-hmm.
for more, yes, because he sees it that it shouldn't be gender based as to what you're doing. So he's encouraging, and we're not saying that the gaming industry is purposely singling out women or not involving them, but to encourage more women to step up and attempt something like this, or
Right.
go with something like this. So what can we
Right.
do as the consumer to help encourage more women to get involved?
Well, sadly though, um, the, there's some work that needs done in the entertainment industry as a whole when it comes to women. And as we've been hearing from Harvey Harvey Weinstein's
Yep.
issues, there is also been some of those coming out about the games industry. So there is some introspection that really needs to be done about access to be at the table that needs to happen across the board, and games are not immune. But that said, um, there's a few things that we as consumers can do. Um, Women need to stand up and be um, counted. They need to speak up and not just silently stay in the background. I had read an article or a study that someone had done talking about, I think it was MMOs. They did a research study on MMOs, and they found that a lot of women pretend choose male sounding names and don't talk in chat and stuff, so that people think that they're men and not women, so that
Mm.
they didn't get flamed in the game. There was another one where somebody actually did Overwatch and actually did a study and saw, and it was when the people playing on the Overwatch team, they were more positive if they didn't know that this one person was what gender they were. But as soon as they found out, suddenly their attitude about their playing skill changed for the worst.
Oh,
So we as women really do need to stand up and say, hey, yes, I play. I like playing games. I have money too. I want to spend my money. Um, but you need to give me something for me to spend my money on. And we need to say that more so that we get counted. The games industry is very market researched. Um, and the economics of game production pushes the studios to be more, not less, market based. Decisions being based on market research, how it tests, how are we doing profits, how much risk are we exposing ourselves to. The
right.
more expensive games are, those profit margins have gotten really, really narrow. So we need to remind them that we are a factor and that they're leaving money on the table if they don't think about women who could be playing the game or who would play the game, depending on the choices that we make.
Right.
Um,
I
the second one is what? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say I agree with that. Yep. Keep going.
Yeah. Also, the cost of games is not sustainable with the current production cycles, the way the games are made today. Um, it's mind-boggling how much it costs to make a video game, especially compared to a movie, right?
Right.
Movie don't they don't Would you do a movie, you cast people in the roles that you want, and sometimes they go for looks too, like a certain character is supposed
Right.
to look this way or whatever, and they'll cast based on what they want or how good the actor is, whatever. And then like the CGI stuff and all that kind of special effects come along to enhance that person, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, video games don't have a person, they have to make a person, right? Like
Right.
from the ground up. They start from a blank screen, or sometimes there are some off the shelf software that can go around that, but you're still hand creating characters and then what they're going to say and how their body actually moves. That doesn't happen in movies. So video games have to spend money that is unique to the entertainment genre, right?
Right.
But the price of games, like the base price of games, haven't changed since the release of the Xbox 360. It's been $60 since then, is
Yeah.
the average base price of a AAA game. And the Xbox 360 released in 2005.
Mm. Wow.
Now, I don't know about you, but my cost of living has gone up
Yes.
since 2005. So it just makes logical sense that the cost of making a video game has gone up. Plus, we have 4K and 3D and VR, and we have these like new advances that keep pushing them to have to innovate and improve
Right.
and photorealism where it looks like it's a real person with skin. You have to make that stuff in some cases. So um,
Exactly.
it's just the price of the product is not keeping up with the cost of production, and we as consumers really need to ask ourselves if we want them to spend the time and make a female character in addition to a male character, let's say in a game, or we want them to add storylines or features into the game that kind of
Right.
give us what we're willing to spend money on, we need to be willing then to pay for that, honestly,
We should be
and
expected that.
support
Right. You get what you pay for.
it. Right,
It's great to have sales and stuff. And I'm a sales shopper. I'm a free to play till I find out if I like something or not.
right,
Um, but I do know that if I really, really want something, I'm going to have to save up and spend the money for the quality of the product that I want instead of just, expecting everything to be out there to be the same price. You can't do that.
right, right.
Yeah.
And that is actually the reason why all these microtransactions, season passes, and all this stuff is coming in, is because, again, like I said, the studio's market research. I have applied for a couple of studio like user research positions, and they're looking for their like best candidate is a PhD statistician, and I'm not joking. That would be the perfect person for that job. Um, they have market tested, I'm sure, increasing the base price of a game. And the reason that they haven't yet is probably because the market research came back and said, no, we're not paying more than $60 for the base game. And
Wow.
that it's just I understand there should be choice, and we as consumers in a free market that we live in, there should be choice, but the cost of games isn't changing. So if you don't want to pay more for the base game, they have to get the money to pay for this stuff then somehow, and the costs are front loaded. They pay all that for it takes usually on average 3 to 4 years to make a game. So they've spent all that money by the time the game comes out. It's not like they can, you know, they cut the corners they can, but they're
Exactly.
guessing on how the game is at the end. They can't know that beforehand. So,
Exactly.
if we want it, we got to be willing to pay for it. And right now,
I
we're not
totally
willing to pay
agree.
for it. So,
I totally agree with that.
yeah. Another one is the game studios need to quit treating women as men with boobs.
You edited yourself there.
I did. I edited myself there. I'm a nurse, and I tend to be kind of, but
That's okay. We're just being real
yeah.
here. That's all good.
But yeah, we, again, like you mentioned before, there's been studies that talk about game choices, and
Hmm.
women and men can be very different in the kind of things they do in a game. Obviously, this is not universal. There's variation in everything. So I'm not trying to say that every woman wants to play Stardew Valley,
Right.
um, and every man wants to play a first-person shooter. But women tend to trend in some various different like consistent areas. And when you don't have people at the table um, to check that a little bit, then you tend to go with, common knowledge. I'm doing air quotes, common knowledge.
Right.
One that you hear consistently still, even though it's been debunked multiple times, is that women don't like to play first person shooters or competitive games, and they only want to play The Sims or Stardew Valley. And that's actually been debunked multiple times, but yet that's still considered common knowledge. So Jem, you and I are aberrations according to this theory.
Yeah, and see, I have to admit that's something I like to do. I'm a competitive person by nature. I like to try things. I know my limits on a lot of things, but I am competitive, and I want to try things out, and slightly impulsive too. I know I kept that as a secret. Nobody knows that about me, but here it is. I'm an impulsive person, and so I like to shoot stuff. I like to blow things up in fun.
Hey.
I even like to be a dark Sith Lord sometimes, but I have to say my bounty hunter is my favorite in SWTOR. But I do like to be that competition. I found out I love PvP. I was playing Star Trek Online, and we were having a guild party, and we were doing bare knuckle PvP, and I beat one of the guys pretty bad, and he's like, "Wow," he was pretty impressed. But it's just about it, and I can't do all the fancy stuff. Like I played some PvP in SWTOR with the fancy stuff, and I really suck at that. But but it's fun trying anyway.
Right.
Oh no, Kidley. We're getting quoted over here, Alise. But yes, you're gonna have to go back and watch this later. We're gonna buy Alise a second monitor. Everybody, we're gonna take up funds and buy her a monitor so she can watch a stream and play at the same time. So
yeah,
just throwing that out there.
I keep going, well, I could buy a second one, but then 4K monitors are just going to come down in price, and I'm going to want one of those.
Yeah.
Might as well for that to happen.
Save up for it.
So I have a 1080p monitor that I just got. I was playing on my TV actually prior to this, and people complained about not being able to read text on there because my computer's also the kids do their homework on.
Oh boy.
So there might be times where I'm like, I'll get, hey Elise, can you cover this event? And I'm like, my got to do this. Nope. Sorry, you said
Oopsie.
I would, but somebody has to do their paper.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Too funny.
So,
Too funny.
I'll get those. I think there's some commonalities between what guys, obviously there's overlap. So I think it's reasonable to say, hey, let's start where we see common factors, and then let's see if we can pull in some things that we know this population is testing well with, and this one isn't. As a matter of fact, BioWare Digital Foundry, which is a market research company, did a study. They released it on the internet on the 19th of 2017, and I linked it actually in our show notes here.
Which one is that?
It's the Beyond 50/50, breaking down the percentage of female gamers by genre.
I'm not seeing the link.
It's the second one.
Oh,
so the first one was the Polygon one.
Yes.
And the second one is the Quantic Foundry one.
Got it. Links coming.
They did a study. Their sample was 270,000 folks. And they mentioned there'll be ESEA, which is what does ESEA stand for? JT might jump in here and tell me what this is. What is it?
Oh no, I'm kind of scared to open too many things.
It's not the European. It's like a video game. The ESEA report. What is the 2016 report? Hold on one second. Let me click on it on my side here real quick. Oh, come on, don't be slow. And I get a 4.0.
Well, that's okay. While you're looking for that.
Anyway,
go ahead.
It's a video game industry group. Um, they come out every year with statistics, and they have, for the last few years, have come out with 38% to 48% of women in the percentage of people who buy video games. How many are women? And they said it fluctuates between 38 to 48% over the last decade. But there's a lot of people who say, well, that's only people playing on their phones. They're including women who play Candy Crush on their phones in that number. That's not true.
I'm going to have to make my mom quit playing then. She's messing with the numbers. Mom's going to have to stop playing Candy Crush on her phone.
Well, yeah. Well, you have to include my husband, who's playing Smurf Village right now.
Do I have to quit the gardening game I just started this week?
No, I mean, if you want it to really be accurate.
By the way, Kidley says it's Electronic Software Association. No, Entertainment Software Association.
Okay, there you go. So what Quantic Foundry did is they took this sample population that they have, some of their market research, and they actually went into depth and actually analyzed the answers. They're one of these groups that actually has like what kind of gamer test that you are, but theirs is considerably more in depth and talks about your inspirations and your motivations and gives this really cool graph. You have to answer like 20 or 30 questions or something in this thing, but they took their sample size, which again is it's a nice robust number, and dug into the numbers, and they came back with 18.5% are female gamers, based on various variables, is what they said, of their sample. Now, again, it's not a blind sample. It's not a random sample. These people chose to do their kind of gamer motivation survey, and so there's self-selecting going on there. But it's really cool to see how they broke down how that percentage fell along the various types of games. I think the point is, though, that we need more research. We need more ideas about what kinds of games people like, and we need some real honest to goodness, real live data instead of us assuming we know stuff.
Right.
And then basing design decisions based on what we know. So
they need to ask questions, and we need to be willing to speak up when those surveys come out.
Right.
Fill out the survey. Make sure it's not clickbait first, but then fill out the survey. Yeah. Clickbait's bad.
And then the last point is, and you mentioned this a little bit earlier, that more female developers need to be hired by the gaming companies, period.
And so we need to be producing female. Oh, and see, now I sound like a 1960s woman. We've got to produce our women folk.
Encourage women to go down that path. Yeah.
Yes, we need to encourage that. You know, we always did it in our house with our kids, as we said, find something you love to do and do it. And, you know, even as an adult, it's like, see if you can make money at it. Our oldest daughter loves photography. There's the link for the polygon.com link for women and girls. So be sure to click that also and check that out. But she now is able to put food on the table and pay the bills when her husband is out of work. He's in sales, and so that can be pretty fluctuating sometimes. It's feast or famine. And she's been able to, she actually makes money, and you know, their kids are in private school now, and all kinds of things. She can keep her own budget and everything because she does something she loves, photography. Right. And she's been blessed with some things along the way, but yeah. So find something you love to do and do it.
And that's a special miracle, really. I mean, you know, to the chat, how many of you do jobs that you absolutely love and don't consider it work?
Exactly.
You're happy to go and do it and maybe spend time outside of work doing it. I'm not in one. So I have a special respect for people who manage to find that. The big problem is with female developers, they can't always say the same. And also there's a lot of evidence out there that there's triaging and kind of gatekeeping women versus men, about what they're encouraged to do and what they're not encouraged to do.
Right.
My daughter has been in a group called Girls That Code, or Girls Who Code, since she was in the first grade. She made a Flappy Bird game, like in the first or second grade.
Oh.
Disney either has or had a coding, like, so Disney, it was princesses based, had something similar. It was like a little thing you could play on their website to learn how to. It was a very basic thing a few years ago, and I don't know if it's still in existence, but they did something the same with teaching people how to code, and we need more of that. I, you know, as a mother, a gamer, and a professional, if I didn't have my Android and all of the stuff that I can do on my cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to make it through the day. I have just too many balls in the air, and just think, if there were more women developers out there, how many more tools there might be to help, working women balance all those things, especially since women oftentimes are, still are statistically do more of childcare, more of the healthcare stuff than their spouses. Just think about all the tools that there could be to help you, assist you and
Right.
not, forgetting your kid at school.
Right. That would be very bad.
Leaving your coffee on the top of the car, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? If they're
Woohoo.
stopping your coffee at the top.
So we
So,
need to encourage the next generation of females to seek this avenue if that's what they choose to do.
yeah.
Excuse me. And
Games.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the games industry needs to start taking itself more seriously too. Is part of
Exactly.
this. I think people still think that the people who make games, that play games, are still, college students, college boys. What was the stereotype back in the 80s? College
Oh
boys
yeah, who live
that
at
have no
home and
social
have a
life,
game in the
live at
basement.
home, and a game in the
Mm-hmm.
basement, right?
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
absolutely not it. The gaming industry
It's
makes
totally
more
different.
money right now than movies and music combined. So
Exactly.
they need to start acting like movies, TV, print, and music media genres to take
Exactly.
themselves more seriously.
Exactly. But there's something else. We need to make sure that that the community out there is open. I mean, how many times have people been hideous, just absolutely hideous, because a woman did something, or a woman was something, or things didn't go right.
And for the games industry, exactly, takes a chance.
Exactly.
Maybe it's not exactly what they thought. Yeah.
Exactly. So we also have to calm that down as well. And so, like, when you're raising your boys, when you're influencing young men, make sure that they understand that it's okay if a girl likes a video game, and it's okay if they don't. It's okay. I think it's 2017. We've so got to be beyond that line in the sand thing.
I agree.
There's women that are going out and working and bringing home the bacon, and there's the men that are at home frying it up, to quote an 80s bath commercial. What was that? Well, yeah, it was the perfume or whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Was it Ginite?
Exactly. Hey, your wildest. I'll take a moment to say hi to everybody that's just shown up recently, and thank you for coming and hanging out. So we're not burning bras or hanging men up or anything. We're just discussing the industry and how can we help balance it more out for the consumer and for the industry that's out there. So just a quick update as to what we're doing. So yeah, we need to just encourage people to just be people and do what you love to do, and respect those that have something different in mind. I think that's a huge thing. Is just respect others for their opinions, and if they don't think like you do, that's okay. Not everybody agrees with me on stuff, and that's okay. We can have a friend here in our subdivisions Facebook group, and she and I are on opposite ends religiously, and yet we can have really great conversations. We have them open in Facebook. I've got to turn down those notifications. It's like really loud.
Awesome, though.
Thank you, Purple Phoenix, for the host, and thank you for Roche 48 and Anonymous for the follows. But we have open chat for the purpose of people being able to see how we can talk about subjects that maybe something I don't agree with, or maybe she didn't agree with, but we can have intelligent conversation about it. And sometimes we'll see each other's point of view, and sometimes we don't, and that's quite okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So
we're all better for not being Stepford gamers, let's say, to put it in that. It's the variety is really what makes things interesting. So
exactly.
And you know what? Some things that maybe maybe something that like a studio thinks, well, this is going to be good for, I'm doing air quotes again, the women who might want to play the game. There's going to be some guys who like that stuff too. Not every guy wants to play a first-person shooter. I mean,
exactly.
And so it's not. Sometimes it's just worth the try and see. And then we need to be respectful as consumers and not flame the studios when they do. And if it fails or it doesn't look exactly what you want, to not crucify them for that. I think we definitely have some room to grow there as a community. Absolutely.
Yes, we do have room to grow. I have to address something in chat. Yes, Uraldus, it is a Titans jersey. Can you see? Kendall Wright on the back. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. Yes, it is game day. We're recording the game, and I will watch it later.
That should not even have been a question. No, she's got a Titans jersey on.
But Purple Phoenix has just given me the best news. My Titans won. I will now go watch how they won.
I thought you didn't want it spoiled.
That's okay. That's okay. I am very excited to know. Now I'm excited to go watch it. So this is awesome. They won. They pulled it out in overtime. Don't be sorry, Purple. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. I'm very excited. That's okay. That's okay. I'm excited. So this is much better. I know we're getting way off on a bunny trail here, and we're going to kill that bunny in a minute. But hubby took me a couple of weekends back to the Houston game, the Tennessee Titans versus the Houston Texans game, and I flooded social media with tons of pictures. And it was awesome. We were 20 rows up from the field, the turf, but Houston doesn't have real turf. They have artificial turf. But we were 20 rows up from the ground between the 40 to 45 yard line. And it was phenomenal. Everything was perfect except the score of the game. We lost 14 to 57. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was horrible.
Don't you just hate that?
I do.
With the Buckeyes.
I do.
I'm an alumni, and we had these awesome seats. I got these awesome seats in like the OSU alumni section, but that section is not exclusive. And it was the first year that OSU played the Texans, University of Texas, and we lost that game, and I was so upset. And there was these Texas fans, and this woman just kept getting up and dancing every time they made a first down. And I was not very kind in my comments to my husband about said woman that was in front of me and her dancing. And it's a shame because those were some of the best seats we had for any of the games, and it was the first time we played Texans, and it was just.
Well, they do it in their team as well. I didn't catch where you were watching the game. I'm guessing it was an away game for Houston.
Yes, they
Yeah.
came to OSU.
They do it in their own stadium too. So here we are, we're 20 rows up, and I've got these people standing up, and I'm like, what the heck? We're at a football game where you're not sitting down. So I stood up pretty much most of the game. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to sit here and watch somebody's butt in front of me the whole time. Hubby did not pay.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she was doing.
Right. I'm sorry. Hubby did not pay that money for those tickets. And we got a hotel room. We went the night before. Oh, it was a perfect weekend. Just had to lose again. Well, okay, bunny trail. We're shooting the bunny. Don't call PETA. It's a fictional bunny. It's not real.
Okay.
Kidley is having a good week in fantasy football. I haven't even checked that. He says I'm winning also. Yes. I think I was on a 3-game losing streak. It was very disappointing. So I'm glad to hear I'm winning. It depends on the butt in front of you. Trust me. No, when I'm watching a game, I don't want anybody's butt in front of me because I will.
Ditto.
Yeah. If we're at home and you're standing in front of the TV, trust me, I will move you. So yeah, we don't. I don't want to see butts in front of my football game. But okay, so we're getting back on track.
Did you want to ask about Extra Life? Because that's pretty much the end.
We
of
do
all
need to
that.
talk about Extra Life. I have Extra Life set up. Here we go. I don't have a camera. That's okay. You don't need to see me. So, Extra Life is starting November 4th is our kickoff event.
And it's Extra Life Day.
Yes, it is. Extra Life Day. And that is when Wookiee Alliance, which is our team this year, is going to be running their 12-hour marathon. It's no accident that the first picture you're looking at is Pick Your Poison event. I'm running the Planet Hop. We've got Azzy running Into the Vault, 16-man Into the Vault.
You mean Eternity Vault?
Eternity Vault. She said Into the Vault. Yes. EV.
It's Eternity Vault, yeah.
Eternity Vault. That's what they're running. And we're going to do...
super chill.
Yep.
It's supposed to be super chill. Somebody said it's kind of like WOG. Extra Life WOG, sort of. I don't know if that's been for sure, but it will be a very chill. So if people wanna try their luck and have never done a operation or whatever, especially, this might be a good one to get your feet wet.
Exactly. Come hang out and have some fun. But I'm running the Planet Hop. We're going to be just doing heroics. We're going to have a list of heroics to go do, a few on some different planets. And the first one on each side that finishes, we're going to run imps against pubs. And the first one on each side that wins gets the prize. And there's going to be door prizes. Now we also will have, yep. Let's see, where am I? We also have SWTOR wood squares.
Yeah.
Yes. And
that's the anchor event, really, right there.
Yes. Where is it? There it is. Now, I don't know how many of you have been with us over the years, but we always have Must-Go events going on. Must-Go's in Space and Must-Go Madness. We have no Must-Go event this year because Eric Must-Go, our community manager, thank you, is the center square of our game this year. So he is participating in the game.
First year that he has actually participated during the actual marathon. He has been a prize. I think last year we watched Force Awakens with
That's right.
But this is the first time he has actually participated during the event. So
exactly.
Pretty awesome. And I'm looking forward to it.
I'm so excited.
I mean, I'm not like one of the squares. I am just going to be watching. So
exactly. Me too.
Excited.
But we also have some of our influencers are going to be in there. We have Kid Lee and Jess is going to be in there. Oh, that's right. He judged the leveling the Must-Go's event. He judged that. That's right.
He does that every year, but that's not actually during the event. He does it after.
Right. And we have who else do we have? Let's see. Excuse me. We have SWTOR Rista, and we have Redna.
And Sakari. JT.
Bad Feeling Podcast. That's right. JT is in there. I thought, isn't Unusual Podcast in here? Will and
Marshall. And
Marshall.
Will, I do believe.
Yeah, Will and Marshall will be in here too. So, let Sakari in.
5-minute delay. I hope we have a 5-minute delay for bad feeling, or somebody puts up the, bad language thing beforehand.
We may have to put up the disclaimer.
Correct. Right. Bad feeling, and it wouldn't be bad feeling without the F-bombs. So
true. That's
everybody
true.
just needs to be prepared.
Be ready. Be ready.
Yes.
So what else do we have? So here's our schedule. Here's the schedule of all the events that are going on throughout the 12 hours. We'll start off with our icebreaker. We're going to do something fun this year during the icebreaker. We're going to hand out a link to flock draw, and each person's going to draw and create their own thing. And then at the end, everybody's going to turn those into us, and we're going to make a collage of everybody's whatever they've drawn. So that's going to be our what am I trying to say?
That's going to be an event, a new event.
An event, yeah.
It's
just a thing to do throughout the day, right?
And I think that this year we've had some really creative ideas. Not to say that the other things we haven't done are creative, they are, but we really thought outside the box this year, and I think it's awesome. This is our 3rd year. People have brought the let's do something different this year, and I think it's awesome.
Right.
So,
I wonder if I can bring up a video. We have a tremendous video that was created this year for one of our PvP events, and let me see if I can find that real quick.
Hello, Internet. Welcome.
Hello, Internet. Sorry. Please ignore. Let's just ignore that. So I'll see. I'll see real quick if I can.
I can't see it. I'm missing something.
Oh, good. No, you're not missing anything. Why can't I find that? Oh, because I was downstairs. That's why it's not in my history. I was on the laptop. Well,
perhaps you can you not get it? You might be able to tweet it after if you're having a time getting it to come.
Right. Oh, right. It should be in Twitter. Well, here, you know what? Here. Oh, I found it. Okay. Here we go. So here in a little bit, I'll play that video. Maybe I'll play it when we sign off.
Okay.
And then that way people can see that. Hopefully it will work. Display capture. Yep, looks like that will work. Okay, so don't forget the 4th, November the 4th.
November the 4th at 11 a.m.
Eastern, 10 Central. And we'll start doing that.
Poor Jess has to get up at the crack of dawn.
She does.
Or stay up horribly late.
She does. Oh, good grief. But there's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, so we were talking. I didn't mean to hijack what you were saying. There's going to be a lot of fun events. We do have 2 PvP events this year, but let me tell you, they're fun. They're not your standard. Oh, let's go do this PvP over here. They're in an open world PvP, and one of them is based on pod racing of Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah. To pod race.
The pod race.
And the what is it? I'm
Capture the flag or hostage rescue.
Well, it's in the one area. Help me out. I'm having.
Outlaw's Den. Outlaws Den on
Tatooine.
Den. Yeah.
Which is on Tatooine, where all the Tusken Raiders are.
Yes. Yes. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really think, people say, but I don't PvP. That's okay. It's not about PvPing. It is just going to be.
Race.
It is. It's a race.
It's a race. It's not PvP. It's just PvP area, and there might be people attempting to knock you off.
Somebody might shoot you on occasion.
Correct.
But,
There's a t-shirt that goes with it.
It wouldn't be pod racing on Tatooine without it. Right?
If people want to buy a t-shirt, that's also going into the extra
T-shirts. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Where is that
So,
link? T-shirts for.
So there's one for the Wiki Alliance
Yes.
event overall, and then there's also one for this event. It has a big old ugly Tusken Raider on the front. I keep asking. I asked Mox if he could bedazzle it up, and I got ha ha ha.
Yeah, apparently there's no bedazzling in SWTOR, I guess.
It's a shame.
I don't know, but there you go. There's the link. There's a link for the TeePublic. So when you go to the store, you should be able to see the Tusken Raider shirts too for the SWTOR event. Yep, there they are, Grand Prix. And so when you buy these shirts, though, from our store, the proceeds go to Extra Life. So they're not pocketing to buy more gaming software or anything. It's going straight to Extra Life.
Right. I mean, I would love to get more game stuff, but I'm not. I'm not willing to use the chair to do so. I am perfectly capable of buying my own game.
Exactly. That's what this is for. So please be sure to give. If you can't give, spread the word. And when we say give, we're not talking about, hundreds of dollars. Just give $5, you know.
Every little bit helps.
Exactly. Just something, a couple of bucks, whatever that you can give to Extra Life. It's for a good cause. And
did you want to explain what Extra Life is, or does everybody in here know
Extra Life? I always mess up when I always say something stupid when I'm going to announce it. Here's the link for Extra Life. Well, that's not the link for Extra Life. Here's the link for Extra Life.
So Extra Life is a game, is a charity in the game community that supports Children's Miracle Network. Children's Miracle Network. And the Children's Miracle Network is there to help fund children's hospitals in North America. I know for sure it's North America. I don't know if Europe is also involved, but I do know for certain that Canada does it as well as the U.S. So,
exactly.
So if you have a local children's hospital, more than likely they are supported by the Children's Miracle Network. This is something I know Jess got the ball. I think Jess and Mox got the ball rolling 3 years ago on this. But it is something that's near and dear because I'm actually a pediatric nurse. And so I have had the pleasure of taking care of children who have had to be in my local Children's Miracle Network supported facility.
Exactly.
And they do a lot of work, and it's really expensive to help some children's medical needs, and the less the parents have to worry about those things, the better off the family is.
Exactly. So. And it could be, maybe they're fighting a lifelong disease, or maybe it's just an emergency situation that came up, an accident or something. So there's all different reasons why children are in these hospitals facing these situations. So it's very, very worthy cause to donate to. So also on our November 4th, a lot of your favorite streamers will be streaming that day. So even if you you don't want to get in and play anything on SWTOR, watch your favorite streamer and watch the shenanigans that are going on, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of death counts and some betting going on
cool.
Some of them. Yep. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, I have no idea how long we've been going. I think we've gone over our hour.
15 minutes.
Yep. So we'll just go ahead and leave it here and say thank y'all for coming out and hanging out with Alise and myself today. And we hope you had fun.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
It's you.
Been fun.
Thank you. I love it. We have to come back on. We'll have to come back on again. And
hey, anytime.
And do some more of this. Well, thank you. And so when we go out here, I'll play that video, and that way y'all can see that. So here we go.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a
Thanks.
good afternoon.
Bye, Alise.
Bye.
Bye, chat.